Hey everyone, welcome to The Zest, the official podcast of Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri. Today's guest is an actress, writer, and producer. You probably know her best as Becca, the Queen Bee Mean Girl from the 4-time Emmy-nominated Hulu series Pen 15, and now she's stepping behind the camera with her own film in the works. You can also read more about her in our January issue. Please enjoy this conversation with Sami Rappoport. Okay, well, thank you so much for doing this, Sami. I am fangirling because I am such a huge fan of Pen 15, and your character Becca never failed to make me laugh. You're hilarious. And then when I saw you in person at ABBA in Costa Mesa, shout out, I was like, "Are you Becca from Pen 15?" And you're like, "Yes, but I swear I'm nice." And I was like, "I can totally tell you're so sweet." So I have been very much looking forward to getting to talk with you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so looking forward to it. Also, yes, shout out ABBA. That place is amazing.
Yes. It's so good and it's so cute. I absolutely love it. Well, to start, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Newport Beach, Orange County, born and raised here, and I love it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then I read that you did theater growing up. Did you do OSHA?
No. So I did do a summer camp at OSHA and I loved it. But I ended up I went to Newport Harbor for a little while, and then also went online school during the pandemic to be up and working. But yeah, no, I definitely had more of the extracurriculars in the arts and then kind of did normal school.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Was there like a certain play or moment that made you fall in love with acting?
Yeah, I really think it found me. I think that ever since I was little, I was just not good at sports. It was just not cut out for me. Mm-hmm. And I was singing and into just kind of more of that kind of the side of the arts, and auditioned for a school play in 5th grade. It was Shrek the Musical.
Wait, how cute.
And I ended up getting Donkey, which was so funny and perfect because I loved that character so much, but really daunting because I just was like, oh my gosh, I've never memorized before. I was just going to sing, and ended up falling in love with theater after that. And then the rest is kind of history.
Well, one, I love that you weren't good at sports. I was not good at sports either. My sister was playing soccer and I was going through the Twilight series, but Donkey, that's such a cool role because he's the funniest character.
Yeah, it was really fun. I think that too, I didn't have that much acting training growing up. I really just kind of lean into my instincts. And I think that's later down the line what really helped me in auditions and stuff. But it was such a fun role to play. I'd love to go back into the theater world.
Yeah. Well, okay. Take me back to auditioning for Pen 15. How did that opportunity come about?
It was honestly the most wild experience. I'll never forget it, but parts of it honestly were so scary to me that I can't remember certain parts, but I got an audition. I think I literally was on Babbo Island eating dinner with my mom, and I got it. And the next day around noon. So I had to pull out of school and go up there. And I just remember, all I remember is they were like, "Oh, try not to wear that much makeup, but wear a little bit so that you kind of look like you're trying to fit in as a popular girl." And so I wasn't a makeup girl at all. I only was wearing Burt's Bees chapstick. So I put on mascara and I must have just gotten nervous, and part of it went in my eye. And so the whole time I was auditioning, my eyes were watering. So all I could see was the red camera that was blinking in that room. And honestly, I just think what I threw at the wall sticked, which was I was fresh out of middle school. It was literally the week after I graduated. And so, I'm sure you can relate. Middle school was not a fun time.
Yeah, no.
And I think I just had a lot of inspiration from just dealing with people like that I just was let me take all the inspo and make this 13-year-old monster. and then I got out of school 5 days later, and my mom picked me up and was like, "You got it." And I was like, "What?" And I remember I just was I was driving down by, I'm sure you're going to know what I'm talking about, by the Cliff Park area.
Yes.
And I was just I didn't believe my mom for 15 minutes. And then at the end, I just started bawling, and this is history, but it's crazy. It was my first audition ever.
What? That's wild.
So wild.
Okay, so I mentioned in our intro that you're going to be featured in our January issue, and I read in that you started an anti-bullying initiative in high school.
In middle school, I was part of it. Yes.
So yeah, it's complete opposite from who you play.
Yeah. We would go and travel to different like middle schools and talk about how to stand up to bullying. And it's just crazy because less than a year later, I got that. And I was like, this is so ironic.
Yeah, literally. Well, what was like your biggest challenge playing Becca?
Oh gosh. I would say my biggest challenge was probably, I'm sure you're familiar, the Spice Girls episode.
Yeah. Oh,
that was so that was my first day on set ever. And so it was such a fun first day, but so daunting because I remember reading the script and I was like, this is a comedy, but this isn't reading like a comedy. My mom was like, I don't know. I mean, it's a comedy. I kind of have to go with that. And we got on set that day and we went through it. We rehearsed it. It was fine. And about 15 minutes into filming, just from the lines me and the other three girls were saying, the main two, Anna and Maya, broke down crying. And then the crew started crying. And then we were crying because we were like, what have we done? And so I think the hardest part and the most rewarding was honestly just playing my character because there was just a lot to, grapple with in terms of what Becca says and does in the world. But it was such a beautiful show. I would never trade it for anything.
Yeah. And I guess to give some backstory to listeners who maybe haven't seen this show. So it stars Maya, Erskine, and Anna Konkle, and they are actually in their 20s or 30s for the show.
30s.
And they're playing middle schoolers with you guys. And the Spice Girls episode was, I think I saw an interview where Maya was talking about, it was actually something that happened in her middle school years where everyone's having her be Scary Spice. And it's an emotional episode, but there's like comedy in it, but it's like also relatable for a lot of people, I'm sure, who went through that. So, but yeah, that's wild that episode happened. And I feel like if I put myself in a position to be bullied by middle schoolers and reliving that, it would make me cry too. It would take me right back to it.
Oh, me too. I mean, it was just I remember I would apologize profusely to them and they'd be like, don't worry about it. Like, we wrote it. Like, we should be apologizing to you. And they were so lovely to be around. So they made it very comfortable. But again, some of the moments that my character was speaking, I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the 2000s is when 10/15 takes place. And that's when I was in middle school. So it was so nostalgic for me seeing when they're on AIM, all these different things. So what was it like for you filming that era?
It was so fun. I'm a big fan of the early 2000s. I love it. So it was great. The only thing I remember, and now it's in and now I love it. So it's fine. But I just remember the first day we had all of our fittings and all the girls came out and they were like, we have low rise jeans. And I was like, no, it was right when high rise was trending here. It was the funniest thing ever. So now I love low rise. It's like my
right. I was gonna say
but that definitely got me into that shell of what I loved. So yeah.
Yeah, that must have been so fun getting to wear all those costumes.
It was, but I wanted to take everything home.
I can only, one of my favorite costumes that you wear, but one of my favorite episodes too is community service episode. And you guys are in these cool, colorful outfits. But I read an interview with you where you're talking about having to pants Maya in that scene.
Yeah.
So basically, the guys are doing a fashion show at an elderly home. Yeah. And Maya's walking in front of you and you're trying to prove that she stole a thong. And so you pants her and she falls. What was that like having to do that?
Oh my God. Okay. So many funny things happen in that I would say scene, but also that entire episode. Oh my God. So the first time, again, that's such a crazy thing to do. You don't cure doing that kind of a thing in a show. And so I just remember being so nervous to have to do that. And I was talking to them before and they were like, it'll be fine. It'll be fun. I was like, cool. It'll be fun. Like, and I remember during rehearsals, I just like marked it because I was like, I'm not going to pull your pants down right now. And so I didn't actually do it. And they were like, no, actually try just so we can make sure. And so it was like kind of hard to get them down. And so just like the way that they had like all these like ties on it. And so when we went to shoot, I was so afraid I wasn't going to get them down that I pulled so hard that part of the material came off and they had to sew it. So it was really such a funny experience. We had to shoot it a lot too. So that was just a lot of fun, but it's one of my favorite episodes too. It's genuinely so funny. And that one part too, when I'm like accusing both of them of it. There's so many bloopers that I genuinely like just could not keep a straight face. And I was really good at doing that. There was probably like 2 takes that were clean. I was laughing so hard.
It's so funny. And it's really funny because I remember like Tilly's was really popular when I was in middle school. Yeah. And at the checkout aisle, they had thongs and different underwear for women when you're going to the checkout booth. And I remember my friends and I in middle school just be like, oh my God, like all shocked by it. And like, yeah. So they captured that so perfectly in that episode. Yeah. But what, like, were they like, what was it like on set? Like, what was the overall like vibe?
I love that. I mean, I was just I'm an old soul. So like I get along with people my age, but I also really get along with people that are older than me. Just, I feel like I'm like that girl that's like in bed at 9:30. I play cards. Like I like my self-care. Like I was not out partying on Halloween. Like, so it was fun. I feel like we just connected a lot. We talked a lot about just like their kind of past with middle school, mine, and then they're also, you know, co-creators, writers, actors, producers. So we talked a lot about just how they navigated that. And it's so cute the way even they met together on a study abroad program at NYU. They were in the drama program together, and that's how they met. And so we're just talking about theater and everything you could imagine with that. So they're great. So I love the vibe and the energy.
Yeah, you can tell watching the show that it was so fun. Like, yeah. And just with all the kids and stuff too. But was there like a moment or a lesson, or I guess what moment or lesson stuck out with you most that you learned from Maya and Anna?
Oh, I learned you can do it all. Honestly, it's especially in the industry, like you kind of get pigeonholed to like being an actor or being a writer. And especially I think the last few years, there's been a lot more like people that are kind of writing and also executive producing, but it's just like, there are girls that wear so many hats that they must have a walk-in closet because they're doing everything. And it's just really cool to be kind of like in the same room as that like badass energy. It was just really, that's the lesson I learned from them. Like you can really just do it all if you know you put your mind to it. What an
incredible experience to like be able to see that done.
Yeah.
And then at such a young age too. And then I love that.
Yeah.
Well, after Pen 15, you appeared in Hacks and Trigger Happy. So how did it feel stepping into new roles like Maddie and Marie after playing Becca for a few years?
Oh, it was so much fun. I feel like it's so nice to be, I mean, as much as I love Becca and getting those kinds of auditions, it's so nice to be able to just jump into something else. Hacks was fun because I remember when I auditioned for it, it was just a minute of improv and I was like, my time to shine. I was like, this is great. I'm ready for this theater kid in me. And then also for Marie, it was so fun. When I got approached, they were like, we want to do this whole dance and singing number and it'll be so fun. And I think being able to combine my love of like other aspects of the industry as well into everything that I do is just so fun. So it was great. I just love, you know, I'm hungry and I love working. And so they were all really beautifully written roles and shows. So.
Yeah. Hacks is, oh my gosh, you have been on such incredible shows. But so you mentioned before, you're not just an actress, you're also a writer and producer. So where did this kind of creative expansion come from and what stories are you excited to tell?
I have to really credit, honestly, Anna and Maya, because watching them make rewrites like at 6 a.m. in the hair and makeup trailer at like 14 was just wild. And it made me start thinking about writing in other ways. I'd always loved it. Like I did poetry and songwriting and creative writing, but I hadn't like, unless it's in front of you, I feel like the idea of writing for like films just wasn't something that popped into my mind. Yeah. And so seeing them do that, I was like, oh, that's such an interesting, I should just give that a shot. And during the pandemic, we had 9 months of like nothing to do. And I just would stay up and write all these ideas for things. And yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then same with the strikes as well. When you can't work, you find other ways to work. And that's what I did. So it's been really cool.
Did you just like go at it, like just immediately start writing, or did you have like wow, no way?
Yeah, I just went at it. And that might not be the best piece of advice for people, but it worked for me. I think you have to just get out of your head because I'm a big overthinker.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Let me just like write. Worst case, it's bad. And that's how I think that side of me was born.
That's interesting because I interviewed, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Kristen Hanna. She's an author. She has a movie coming out with Dakota Fanning and Elle Fanning, but I asked her like, when you approach a new story, are you just going in and writing it, or do you have like a layout? And she goes, no, like no outline, no nothing. She uses like a legal pad and pen and just writes it all down. And I feel like that is the best way to do it because I'm an overthinker as well. Yeah. And I want structure and I want all these things. But if I do that, I'll get caught up on the like details. Yes, exactly. I just have to like go and write, just get it all out.
I think my notes app is like the greatest gift from Apple because anytime something pops into my head, I mean, I have probably thousands of notes apps of ideas or outlines, but it's the greatest thing. It totally takes you out of your own head.
Yeah, it really does. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to like interview you and you're like a big movie director, but you have a film 8, which is a proof of concept film. So, and congratulations. So what is a proof of concept for a feature? So can you explain what that means and what it's about?
Yeah. So I'll also tie this in with Pen 15. When I first auditioned for Pen 15, they sent me the proof of concept, it's like a smaller, shorter version of what essentially it would turn into. And so it was like a 12-minute kind of sketch of what Pen 15's pilot would have been. And so a proof of concept for a feature is just really like a 12 to 15-minute video version of what your entire 2-hour long Spielberg movie eventually becomes. So that's why it's a short film in its own, but it's also a proof of concept so that eventually the tiny, couple scenes that this is about can turn into something that it has its whole arc. So
cool. So what is it about and what inspired the project?
So it's about my grandfather. My grandfather was born in Mexico City. His family fled from Hungary during the war. And then he was born with, it wasn't in our family history at all, but he was born with hemophilia, which is a bleeding disorder where your blood essentially doesn't clot. And he also had a inhibitor, which essentially is like you being allergic to the cure. And so it's a crazy, really rare form of it. And so he was told he wouldn't live to be past 2 years old, and he made it to 52. Wow. And so it's a really inspiring story about him and defying the odds. And it's raising awareness for rare diseases and also just a passion project about his legacy of just living life to its fullest.
That gave me chills. Yeah. That's such a good story. Wow. Do you have like a timeline or are you?
Yeah, I think we're set to shoot. We're aiming for March now. It was originally going to be January, but we ended up pushing it a little. So yeah.
Well, this comes out in February, so we'll be like 1 month out when
that's perfect. Yeah, we're currently funding for it and in the stages of just like kind of cleaning up the script. But I do have director attached and DP and all of that. So,
oh my God, congratulations. This is so cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're coming to the end of our time, but before I let you go, I have 3 final questions for you that we call the Thoughtful 3. So first, what advice would you give to a young aspiring actress?
Oh my gosh. Really just to never give up. And I know that's so cliche, but it's so true. There's been so many times where I've been so close to getting something and it just falls through or you're not the right fit and it's, out of your control. So really just, continue. Something's going to hit. And that's my best advice for it. Just keep going.
And then what moments in your career have had the most significant impact on who you are today?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think honestly, getting Pen 15 was a really impactful moment for me. It's the part of me that really confirmed that like I could do something that wasn't maybe like the most like stable or like most taken path, but it was just kind of like the universe's sign of like, you know what, like you can do this. And I think that was really instrumental in like who I am today and shaping that.
Oh, that makes me, I love that so much. And then lastly, what advice do you have for people when they find themselves outside of their comfort zone?
I think it's so thrilling. I think that I used to really like, just like to be in my bubble and like, I'm more of a homebody and just that kind of a thing. And I feel like all the opportunities come to you the second you step out of your comfort zone. And so that's really what I would say. Just kind of enjoy it and soak it in, and things will come at you that you had no idea could. And it honestly leads to the best stuff.
I totally agree. And I also I feel a kinship with you because I too like to be in bed by 9:30 and everything that you were saying.
Yes.
I totally agree.
My favorite thing.
My dream is to never leave my house. But well, thank you so much for doing this. You are such a pleasure to talk to you. This was so much fun, and I cannot wait to see what you produce.
Oh my gosh. I had so much fun talking to you. Thank you so much for having me.